The Galactic Council had made many mistakes in its 3,000-year history, but none would prove as catastrophic as the day they voted to exterminate humanity. Akeem stood on the observation deck of the Eternal Resolve, watching the blue-green planet below with eyes that had seen too much death. Earth, humanity's cradle. The Council had expected it to be their grave as well. They had been wrong. "Commander Akeem," Kanat's voice crackled through her neural implant. "The last Council fleet has been neutralized. Sector 7 is clear." She didn't smile. There was nothing to smile about. Victory tasted like ash when it came at such a price. It had started 6 months ago, when humanity's delegation to the Council chamber had presented evidence of their technological achievements. The Council species, the crystalline Vexnor, the aquatic Thessians, the warlike Krell, and 7 others, had listened with growing horror. Humanity had gone from primitive radio waves to quantum entanglement communications in less than 2 centuries. They had mastered genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and fusion power while the Council watched with detached amusement. But when humanity revealed their latest breakthrough, controlled wormhole technology, the Council's amusement turned to terror. Akeem remembered that day clearly. She had been a junior officer on a science vessel, studying nebula formations in the outer rim. Kanat had been her co-pilot, a brilliant navigator with an irreverent sense of humor that kept the crew's spirits high during long expeditions. Then the message came. The Council had declared humanity a threat to galactic stability. Extermination protocols were authorized. All human vessels were to be destroyed on sight. All human colonies eliminated. Earth itself would be sterilized. The Council had 15 species. Humanity had one. The mathematics seemed simple. They hadn't accounted for human stubbornness. "Kanat," Akeem said quietly, "prepare the quantum link. It's time to address the survivors." "Already done, Commander." His voice carried a weight that hadn't been there 6 months ago. War changed everyone, but especially those who proved good at it. Akeem closed her eyes and activated the link. Across the galaxy, on every human ship, station, and colony that remained, her voice would be heard. "This is Commander Akeem of the Terran Defense Fleet. As of Oro 600 hours, the last Council Armada has been destroyed. The Vexnor homeworld has surrendered. The Thessian Empire has fractured. The Krell no longer exist as a species." She paused, letting the magnitude of those words settle. The Krell had been the Council's military backbone, a species that had conquered 40 worlds before joining the galactic community. They had boasted that their warrior tradition stretched back 10,000 years. Humanity had ended them in 73 days. "The Council species made a fundamental error," Akeem continued. "They assumed that because they had been in space longer, they were superior. They had forgotten what it meant to fight for survival. They had grown comfortable, complacent. They waged war like it was a game of chess, calculating, predictable, bound by ancient rules of engagement." Kanat appeared beside her on the observation deck, his face illuminated by the soft glow of Earth below. He looked older now, his eyes carrying the same haunted look as hers. "Humans don't play chess when our existence is threatened," Akeem said. "We flip the board. We break the rules. We adapt, we innovate, and we do whatever it takes to survive." She thought of the battles. The Vexnor had superior shielding technology, so humanity had developed phase-shifting weapons that bypassed shields entirely. The Thessians had numerical superiority, so humanity had created self-replicating autonomous drones that turned numbers into a human advantage. The Krell had believed their battle prowess was unmatched, so humanity had shown them what total war truly meant. No civilians, no infrastructure, no resources left untouched. "It wasn't courage that won this war," Akeem continued, her voice heavy. "It was desperation. It was the fact that we had nowhere to run, nothing to lose, and everything to fight for. The Council species were fighting to maintain order. We were fighting to exist." Kanat reached out and gently touched her shoulder. "Should we tell them the rest?" Akeem nodded slowly. This was the part that hurt most. The Council's mistake wasn't just underestimating our capabilities, she said. It was forcing us to become the very thing they feared. 6 months ago, humanity was a curious, hopeful species reaching for the stars. We wanted to be part of the galactic community. We wanted to learn, to trade, to coexist. Her voice cracked slightly. They took that from us. They forced us to weaponize every technology. militarize every innovation, and turn our boundless creativity toward destruction. In trying to prevent a threat, they created one. Below, Earth continued its eternal rotation, unaware that humanity had just become the galaxy's apex predator, not through choice, but through necessity. The surviving council species are requesting terms of surrender, Canet reported quietly. What should I tell them? Akim was silent for a long moment. The old humanity would have shown mercy, would have sought reconciliation. But that humanity had died the moment the Council's first antimatter missiles had struck the Mars colonies. Tell them, she began, then stopped. Who had they become? What had they lost in winning? Tell them we will meet to discuss peace, Akim finally said. Tell them that humanity remembers what it was like to face extinction. And tell them that we will never ever allow anyone to make us feel that fear again. As the message went out across the quantum network, Akim stared at Earth and wondered if this was what victory was supposed to feel like. Hollow, bitter, and desperately alone at the top of a pyramid built from the ashes of civilizations that had pushed them too far. The Council had declared war against humans and triggered their own extinction. But in doing so, they had also killed something essential in humanity itself, the dream of peaceful coexistence among the stars. And that, Akim thought, might be the greatest tragedy of all.